We're live. Oh, I see people are saying Yanka's here. Sharon Howard's here. We got pals showing up already. That's so great. Makes me feel so good to see people showing up already. So today, of course, I'm Bisou. Javi always introduces herself, so I better get with the program and say I'm Bisou in case somebody's new and doesn't know that I'm Bisou. And we're going to talk about Apoxie Sculpt today. I did a lot of videos on Apoxie Sculpt a while back. There must be 10 or 11 maybe. And it tells you all these different things you can do and the basics and how to mix it and all that. But the biggest reason why I brought Apoxie Sculpt in to Bisou Boutiques, my website, is because I wanted to make stuff just like this. I was always intrigued with the jewelry from India that has some sort of a resin in it, and then they would inlay little seed beads and tiny mirrors and this and that and the other thing. And now it's kind of more elaborate. They call them Indonesian beads now. And you might see them different places. I've had them for sale once in a while, and they have really very simplistic things. Sometimes they even just embed jump rings in them. So you really can use a really huge variety of things when you're making these beads, but need to be small. I would say you don't want any more than 6 millimeter at the most when you're doing it. So what you want to do is gather your things together, all your little embellishments and stuff, as I've done. Hi guys, there's Andrea, there's Joy, Dara's here, Danielle. You know, you'll gather your stuff together. You know, you've probably seen my mosaic box before. I've got all kinds of stuff in here. And there's some more in this one. I think this is my more favorite box. This has better stuff, but I need to replenish it because a lot of it I've used up. But there's just a whole bunch of stuff in here that you can use. And I have different bead caps and stuff I use too. I use bead caps a lot. Hi Rose. Hi Colleen. Hi Marcy. You got the wrong time. You're not the wrong time. You're here. We're just starting. So you did good, girl. Hi, Deborah. Sunny, I should say. She calls herself Sunny. I like that. Yeah, we got a good group. Hey, Jessica. Jessica made it. I did teach a class on this about a year ago, and we did some of this in the class, but I think it's been long enough now that I want to share it just on YouTube. You know, I'm doing a basic video here, and then you'll take it to the next level, because really all you're going to need is basics to get on your way to doing this. The rest of it's kind of you figure it out as you go, but it's more about what you use to embellish it than anything. But I'm going to show you just the basics now. I did not mix this up on camera because I kind of figured most of you have seen that a lot of times already. If you have not, I will post a link to a video very soon after the videos, after this is over. Hi, JJ. And you'll be able to go back and see how to mix this. It's a 2-part resin clay, okay? And you can use it like a glue, too. I mean, it's amazing stuff. I love it. So you have to mix it up, equal parts, and then you can work with it. You have about an hour. At first, it might be kind of squishy, mushy, because you've had the heat of your hands on it. But then in about 10 minutes, it firms up. But this stuff, it's pretty good. I just mixed it up, but it's pretty good. You can work with this. So I just pinched off 6 pieces to make beads with. So I'll show you the tricks of it. I forget who Fivedale is. Tell me who Fivedale is. I should know. I know she's told me goobers of time, and I know her well, and I can't remember. Durr. Anyway, that's me getting old. Can't remember. Okay, but I remember how to do this. And that's the main thing right now. So anyway, I've got this little ball of clay. What I'm going to do, and I'm not using gloves. You can if you want. I only use gloves, excuse me, initially to mix it because that's where the chemical reaction takes place. So I only use it then and I get them off because I just can't do it quite. Hey, Betty. I just can't quite do it. So now I have a nice little round ball there, okay? This may not stay round. We'll have to see. I'm glad I'm doing it too, Colleen, because this is one of my most favorite things to do, okay? You know what? Before I get making this, maybe I should show you some that I made up close and personal. We have time here. This isn't going to start to harden up that fast. Okay, Let me just show you some. Okay, well, here's a pretty necklace I made yesterday. This is a hunk of Apoxie Sculpt, and it's got 4 sides. This is, when you look at my beads, you're going to see that I favor this, doing them on 4 sides. I like this, but that doesn't mean you have to. You know, this works out better for me. And so I have a nice little pearl in it. In fact, that's a Miriam Haskell pearl. And I've just shoved different spacers, and I had little bee beads and stuff, and then it was white. This is super white Apoxie Sculpt, and there is a difference. Hi, Jacqueline. How are you? Aw, that was so nice of you. Hey, Lisa. Hi, Debbie. So I'm using super white because it's what I prefer. There is just a plain white too, but it's kind of gray, so I don't carry it. I carry the super white, and we do have plenty in stock at pieceboutiques.com if you want to get it. And it goes a long way. It goes a long way compared to the old Cerulean that we used to use. Oh my goodness, they hardly gave you anything. With Apoxie Sculpt, till you're done, you are going to have, let me see, I think 4 ounces of it. Yeah, 1/4 pound of it to work with, you know, for only a couple bucks more, so it's better stuff too. But anyway, so I just unlaid this stuff into it. I didn't have to glue it in or anything. Like polymer clay, if you do this, you can. But you'll have to go back, take it out, and then glue it in. Or I think there's some new methods now where you can use the liquid Sculpey or whatever to put them in. But anyway, with this stuff, you put them in and it air dries. There is no baking with Apoxie Sculpt, which is rather wonderful because I never did quite like that baking thing. I never was quite sure when it was done, you know. But this, you know, is done because it gets real hard. And you can't make a mark in it anymore. Like this, I can't make a fingernail mark in it at all. So I just laid my beads in there. And then I took it and I dusted it with Poppy Perfect Pearls. You know how Javi and I love our Perfect Pearls. We just love them. So I just dusted it, and I have this rosy peachy pink color on it. It's almost iridescent. It's so pretty. I love Micah Powers for that. Hey, Deb, how are you doing? Isn't it a cute necklace, Debbie? It's nothing fancy at all. It's just got the little stuff in there and the bead. And the beads are kind of heavy, I will tell you that. Especially if they're bigger like this one. And I hung something from the bottom, put a bail on it, put this pretty chain on it. And I just love it. I think a lot of people would like to wear a necklace like that. It's just real simple. But that's how I make them. And I'll show you some that were made a long time ago. I made these a long time ago. This is another one. It kind of has that 4-sided thing going on. It did. Ball chain is great. If you're going to do this, one of your best embellishment is really tiny ball chain. Okay? I like gold. I like silver. And then if you're going to use rhinestone chain, you want 2mm rhinestone chain. Don't get bigger than that because it's just too big. It is. Believe me on that. It's just too big. In fact, I hardly ever even stock anything greater than 2mm at my site because I'm about doing stuff like this, and that's the best size for it. So, Perfect Pearls, you just dust them on, Marcy. That's it. You don't have to put any embossing powder down. You don't have to put any water down. You don't have to nothing. You just dust them and then let the clay cure, and it will stay. You don't need to seal it, nothing, nada. So that's kind of nice, you know. This one I made yesterday. Where's my little pointy tool? Oh no, don't tell me up here. No, that isn't right. I have to have my pointy tool. This is the pointy tool. You guys have one of these? If you don't, we do have some on the site. They're not that hard to find though, but we do have some on the site. You go pick one up so you'll have one. And I love these. I cannot mess around with clay without one of these. I have to have it. But anyway, the hole's good. This is the one thing you have to keep in mind when you're making Apoxie Sculpt beads, is you got to keep the hole clear. It tends to want to collapse on itself, especially if you make the hole first and you go and you embellish it. You have to go back periodically and kind of ream it out a little bit. And then when you're done, you have to ream it out again, and then come back in a little while and do it again. Make sure that's freed up, or your bead will collapse on itself and you'll have a really rough time getting that open again. I don't know how to say your name, Hunch, something like that. Never heard of Apoxie Sculpt? It's wonderful. Thank you for the kind words. It's wonderful. You're going to see. You can do so much more with Apoxie Sculpt than a lot of things. Anyway, but it's resin clay is basically what it is. And it's the best resin clay there is. It was one of the first, and it still remains one of the best. So that's the one I made. So it would be another one kind of like this. It's a little bit smaller. But I used ball chain, I used rhinestone chain, and a few little bead spacer type things on there. So you're going to have a lot of fun. If you get into this, you're going to have a lot of fun setting up one of these boxes with little tiny bead spacers and mosaic bits and tiny beads and chatons and all the kind of things that you think would work, and as small is important. Yes, you can, Deborah. Absolutely you can. Some people do. And if that's easier for you, then go for it. I mean, it's a good idea. If you need to have uniform beads all the same size, and you have a certain size in mind, yes, a wooden bead would be fine. Absolutely. It will stick. It will stick. It will stick on plastic too, but on wood. Wood has a little bit more tooth, so I think wood's your better choice. Okay? But anyway, you can see I, made a variety of things of these before here. I've got a bunch of them on a little chain. Just kind of like my collection of them, I made. And some I used pearl mica powders, some I used the turquoise colored. This one has iced enamels in it, and it makes it look like the seashore with sand in it, which I love that look. Also, there's a video on this one if you want to go back and look for it. The little spinner thing we have with the 3 sides. I did it with Apoxie Sculpt and little tiny beads. And I love this. I just haven't made anything out of it yet. You can see, you just use a little, like these are those 7mm hibiscus beads that we have on our website. This is a polymer clay bead which also works really super good. Mermaid sand works also, you're right, Colleen. You can pick little pickety bits out of there and put them into stuff. But yeah, and I like seed beads too. I like this look, with the holes sticking up here. That's kind of authentic to the original lock. They called it, see if I can say it right. It's lock, I think it's L-A-K-H. Pretty sure that's it. That's the type of resin that they use in India. It was so popular, especially when I was in high school. You would buy bangle bracelets made with this stuff in it all the time. It was really cool. But anyway, I did that. Oh, I'll show you one more thing before I start making my bead. So I always get off on a track. I made this necklace some time ago. It's pretty long. Let me just move this back so. It doesn't matter if something sticks to it a little bit. You can smooth it back out, but just don't get it in dirt, because that does make it kind of hard. I made this long necklace with the wrap beads going all the way up. And I used Apoxie Sculpt beads in it too. But the feature of it is the focal that I made. I made this with wire. There's no, spinner thing in there or anything. I made this with heavy wire, and it's got a big bead on it, and it goes around like that. And I don't know, when I made this, I said, you know what, I'm keeping this, because I don't know if I could take a good enough picture of it anyway to sell it. And then I thought about, well, what would I charge for it? Costing things out is important. And as I did it, it was mostly the labor, not the materials. And I'm like, I got I'm invested into this. I says, you know what, this is mine. You ever done that? Just said, you know what, I'm keeping this. So, anyway, let me just put this on and I'll get it out of the way. But I love this piece. And it has some, I did pretty good with my wire for me on this. Got nice little curly cues and little coils. So, all by hand. Let's see, let it go the right way. Okay, so, maybe that gives you some ideas where you can go with this. You can also just make flat pendants and put stuff into them. This one's got a hole right up here. Then I put a star bead around to kind of seal it up. I've got one on the back too, just to make it look nice and finished. You don't have to do that. That's kind of good. And I use the beads, the big beads that I sell and the little ones that I sell because they are good as stones too. But anyway, I had fun with that. That worked out. This one, I embedded a piece of broken china into it. So you can pass through here or pass through here. And then I put a little bit of a pattern on the back. Okay? All right, let's get busy here. Let's make a bead. All right, so I got this one rolled out. I don't know that it's going to stay round. Hey, Kimberly. I'm glad you caught me live, too. Because it kind of compresses, and I think it's just a skill that you develop the more that you do them. If you've made a lot of polymer clay beads, you're off and running already because you know how to work with clay, here, you know, basically. But what you'll do is you take your pointy tool and try to get it, you know, into the middle of it, and then just gently twist. If you press on it, it will turn into another shape, you know, because you'll contort it is what I want to say. And it's kind of hard to get it to come out exactly the other side, but it's starting to. It's not bad. So I'm going to take this out from here so I can see my hole, and I'm just going to go back through. And another thing that I like about these kind of beads, if you've ever looked at, you know, them, they're a little bit what I call designer crude. I like that look. It's very organic. So you don't have to worry about being all perfect with it. I mean, if you want to be perfect, then, you know, hone your skills and work at it. You'll get perfect. I just don't care. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Hey, here's Jan, too. Jan made it. So now I'm just going to pass through a few times. And I'm trying to see, you know, did I get it even enough, and can I kind of just play with it and push it down and roll it, you know, to get what I want. This will end up four-sided, I'm going to tell you that right now. But that's what I like anyway, so it's kind of hard for me to break out of that mold. Okay, so it's pretty good. Pretty good. You need to get pretty good sized hole in there because, like I say, as you play with this and you apply things to it, it will collapse on itself a little bit. So, Diana Frank. Yeah, I have a bunch of the bangles still, Diane. Yeah, you could do a lot with this stuff. If you were going to make an ornament, though, I'm just thinking, you might want to find something for a base and then build over it. Because if you did a whole, I'm thinking a big round ornament, if you did out of totally epoxy sculpt, it might be a little heavy. Just might be. So you could put something inside to make a core bead and then just cover it. That makes it go fast too, or faster. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my ends. You do not have to do this. I just like to, okay? So don't worry about it. You can put, sometimes I put a little tiny bead like this in there. But sometimes it's troubles with sticking, so I'm not going to do it this time. If it was a little bit bigger, it would work. So we're just going to go with the end finished bead, which is this. I have these on my website. I can't stand to be without them. I love these beads. Love, love, love these beads. They're heavy. They're cast zinc. Finished so nicely. They just really have, it's all things you could do with it. But I like to set it right here on the end. And then push down in just a little bit. Just try to center it the best you can. Yeah, this is going to go squishy. I don't care, though. So, I don't care. If you do, then you'll have to work with it to get your technique down. That's all as it is. And then I'll do the other end. I don't want to get squished in too much, because it will happen as you manipulate it. It'll work down in. You'll have it so jammed down in there, you won't even be able to see this beaded edge. I don't know, Marcy, if it's a styrofoam ball when working on it. It might. Hi, Pat. Hi, Francis. It might. Probably should. I just don't know if styrofoam goes along with epoxy sculpt, if there would be some issues or something, chemical issues with it that wouldn't work, you know. But Rose says, me too. What, you have some bangles also? I think most of us 60s children, baby boomers, have some of them. Remember all the hippie jewelry back then? They used to make beads out of seeds and stuff. That was fun. Okay, so I've got my ends made, and I've got a pretty decent hole in there. I could make it bigger. Let me see if you can see. Hold it up. I could make it a little bigger, but I don't like it to be bigger than that. If you do, then do it. Like, say you want to make a really big whole bead, you know, because you like to use bead. Maybe you want to string them on leather or something and knot them, which that'd be a great look. You might want a bigger hole than that, okay? Another thing you can do is just roll it. And then again, you're going to get your cylindrical type look if you do that. Okay? Now, let's say that you had a texture stamp or something, and you just want to put a pattern on it, you know, and that's it. And then maybe do a little bit of perfect pearls over it or something. You could do that, just don't want to press too hard. But then you probably wouldn't want to embellish it because it would make it difficult with all the highs and lows of the texture. But I'm just saying you can do that. Okay, so this is pretty good. It's not perfectly even, but I'm not going for that. I like it to look handmade, okay? So, what are those called on the website? Oh, these rings? I can't remember, but you'll find them in beads. Metal beads. Go to the metal bead. You might be surprised what you find in the metal beads section. We have some cool stuff in there. You'll find them in there for sure. We'll try and get you a link later, okay? But yeah. These are a good thing to have. And also the the metal mix. Mixed metals mix. This I'm working with. It's right here. This stuff. This is on the website too. This is all kind of little spacers and round beads and nubby beads and just all kinds of stuff in here. This is the stuff that works really good for embellishing. Have you tried slender coffee stir straws for the centers to keep collapsing? You can't leave them in there, Sharon. They say you can, but if you do, you might have a devil of a time getting them out. It might just collapse onto them and then dry onto them. Because there's not much that you can put epoxy sculpt on that it won't end up sticking to. So I tried that. About the only thing you could do is if you want to do that, put them in there, and then you need to intentionally mean to leave them there, which is not a terrible idea. You know, I mean, especially if you put something over it that you're not going to see, look down and see it's straw, you know, but you're going to have to get them cut off flush, you know, so you don't have to monkey with it. I just prefer to go back and just keep testing it and make sure that it's open, you know. It's no big deal. You just pick it up every so often and just go in. And it's fine. Okay, so now we're going to embellish this puppy. What will we do? Well, I found this stuff. I had a big wad of this hanging here in my office. I don't know if I want to do this or not, but I'm going to look. This ball chain is colored. See, now this is something I don't like. Yes, that did make a mark. You don't have to worry about that. This is hooved up on one side. I don't like that. So let's just push that down a little bit. Okay. See, it's almost kind of like a washer bead, you know? So I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to press this down. And now don't press it too hard. You got to press it so it's going to make an impression, but don't press it too hard because it will just start disappearing down to the epoxy sculpt. You don't want that. That's not the look you're going for. And you'll notice I didn't cut it. And I didn't cut it because I didn't know quite where I wanted to go with it yet. If you look at these beads that you buy, see, it's very easy for it to get off track, and that's okay. Unless you want it perfect, then you know what to do. You're just going to have to refine your technique. Okay, this one is getting a little crookedy, but not to worry, you can fix that. So I'm going to do a couple turns on this. And it's kind of wavy on the one end, but I don't know, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. So I'm going to do one more and finish it up. And this is just ideas, guys. You don't have to do this. You can do whatever you want. In fact, my guess is you're going to go off and find out something a lot more clever than I have. And this is simply because I don't get to do this every day. You know, if you have time to do this, like take a day and just make beads, you can teach yourself a lot in a day's time making these. And like you find out how to do this, how to do that, what works, what doesn't. It's experimentation. The worst thing that could happen is that you have to take everything off of it and re-roll it and start over. And like I say, you got about an hour, you know. So basically, I would say mix small batches at first. I mixed a bigger one because I wanted to be sure I had enough to do different things. But the best thing is to mix small ones. Okay, so now I've got some room here left. So what will I do? Will I put this on because I've got silver on it? Let's try it. I have this little piece here I have to use up. It's silver ball chain. We have a lot of gold ball chain at the site. If you look in the chain section, and you don't want the big stuff like this. This is really kind of too big. You want the small ball chain, just like you want the small rhinestone chain. Yeah, it does kind of tend to want to get, you know, a little bit out of shape. So you just have to just go easy with it so that you can get it back into shape when you're ready. Okay, that's good. And another thing too is, you know, if you go look at these beads, you know, you can bring them up on Google and stuff. You can just get all kinds of ideas for patterns. I need to get some and just keep them for patterns and ideas because I go off and I forget. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, I'm going to do it. And then I don't remember what I was looking at. Okay, so I'm going to use some little gold beads here now. So you can see I just picked it up with my pointy tool, and I'm just going to tamp it. Tamp it too much because I don't want to get everything buried. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Now what I could do is I could go back on these and I could set them with teeny tiny chatons if I have the right size, which I failed to look to see if I did. I might have some. Let me just look in a minute. Let me go ahead and get these down. Can you see what's happening? This is starting to collapse and this is starting to get smushed down. You don't want it to get so that the beaded edge is not showing. Don't worry about that hole right now. But if I didn't do anything about that, it would close on itself and you wouldn't be able to use the bead. It'd be cute laying there looking at it, but you wouldn't be able to use it unless you have a way of drilling it out. In which case, then drill it out. I would rather not do that. I got one more going on here. You know, another thing too, I was thinking, you know, I'm seeing more and more different people doing, you know, very intricate mosaics with epoxy sculpt and assemblies and stuff. And the best way to go about doing that is to do some sketching first. You know, draw some patterns. I just make this stuff and I just say, okay, what do I got here? And you know, but if you do it with intention, a little bit more intention than I do, you probably have even more success with it and more unique looks than just, oh, what do I have here? You know, kind of thing. See, I poked that. You know, what can I find? Because you don't have, you know, a long time to work. You have about an hour or so. And here's the thing. I can turn these into beads even if they start getting firm, but I'll have trouble pressing things into them. So you've got about an hour to be able to press things into it easily. Okay, so I've opened that up again. That's pretty good. Okay, let me see what I got down here because I think I've got some chatons. No, I don't. There may be some in here. Let me see. I think these are too big. Where's my little pad? You guys got a pick-me-up tool? I love this thing. It's really great for chatons. Doesn't work so good for nail hole pearls. I don't know why that is, but for chatons it works. Hey, look at this. This is going to fit. Now it has to come off the pick-me-up tool is the only thing. All right. And also you might see I made a little mark in that. I'll smooth that out. What you want is you want this here, and we have lots of it at the site, safety solvent. That's really not a safety thing. It's just you get a little bit on your finger and you can smooth out dings and stuff like that. So it's a good thing to have. So I got a little chaton stuck down in there. That's fun. That's fun. Okay, let me see if I can find another one, huh? Could I possibly find another one small enough in here? Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. I want them clear. Here's a clear one, but it might be too big. Might be a little too big. Yeah, a little bit, but I'm going to push it down anyway. What the hey? Hey, Melba. Hey, Pat. How you doing? I'm the same place where I've always been. All you have to do is just come to the Bisa Boutiques channel and go to the video section. That's where we are. On here. On Facebook, we go to the Bisa Boutique page, but I don't usually do my videos on there. I usually do them on YouTube. Because that's where most people look for me. But Jessica was saying she was thinking about covering a wood bead and not having to worry about it collapsing. That's true. That's true. Hey, Gloria. That's very true, Jessica. So now we got to look for some beads that are the right size, huh? In wood. What did I do? Pick up a colored bead. I did. I don't want that. Come on, color. I need clear. Hope it didn't get smooshed down in there right now. It didn't. It's loose. Yay. Just need another one here. Wants to pick up everything but the right one. That's because I don't have them all on here spread out. Like, this is the best way to work with them. I'm picking them up out of a box. Okay, you go down in there. See, it's gotten a little bit distorted. Then I can fix that. You just have to be sure you got it down in enough. See, here's gotten some little bit of... This is where safety solvent works. I'll show you in a minute. I should show you that anyhow. Okay, I got one more, and this has gotten a little bit misshapen too. But we can fix that. We can work with it. Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, guys, I'm thinking, you know, the idea of a wooden bead would probably make the work go faster, make it funner, and you wouldn't have to worry about it collapsing. I just like using the product as it is. But you'll even find on those beads, you know what they do? They use eyelet rivets on the ends to open their holes up. Okay, I don't want to push more on this. So they're in there. So okay, that's a design. It's not my fanciest, bestest design, but it's good. And I'm still seeing some beads around the edge, you know, the beaded edge. It's just collapsing on itself, so I've got to ream that out. No biggie. And then I have to see if I can get that little finger mark, nail mark out. So if I sat and did this a lot, I'm sure that I would be a lot better than I am at it. But I still have come a long way from when I first started, let me tell you. They were kind of rough, but that's okay. I think I used them anyhow. Hi, Chris. Thanks for coming. You should come and join us at the Bisa Boutiques Creative Group at Facebook. We'd love to have you. Okay, so I still got my beaded edge showing. I don't want that to disappear down in there. Okay, so that's good. That's good enough for me this time. Now, let's see about fixing that little boo-boo. Boo-boo, hey, boo-boo. Javi's a trooper. She wasn't feeling so hot today, but she came and got me set up. I think she's laying down. No, that's why you don't hear her. She'd like to be here, but she doesn't feel so. She's been having some trouble with lactose problems, you know. And when you have that, it's difficult to be sure you didn't get any lactose in your stuff because it's like in everything. Same way with gluten, you know, you gotta check out everything. Okay. So yeah, it does get kind of white on your fingers, but oh well. Okay, so what I do is I just keep some little Pampers wipies, little wet wipes, here you, nearby, and I just get it off of there. Get it off of me. That's all good. Okay, so that'll dry. So if you see that coming off, just don't sweat that. Okay, so let's see, it's not too bad. They do kind of want to hoover. Yeah, the bead thing, the wooden bead idea, the more I think about that, the better it sounds. But this isn't too bad. She says, could you use a small diameter dowel rod to build the bead on? No, don't use it. It will stick to the dowel rod. It'll stick to wood. So it's like I'm saying, if you want to use a wood bead for your base, that's perfect because it will stick to it. But you can't. About the only thing is like a metal thing, and I really don't even want to leave something like that in there. You know, you don't have to worry too much if you just get it reamed out enough, and then check it a few times as it's curing. You're fine. But if you don't check it, and you're not careful with it, then you might have beads that are closed. Debbie Scott, how are you? I'm realizing what famous person you are. Oh, nobody said that for a long time, but I used to hear that all the time, Debbie, that I sound like Roseanne Barr. No, I don't think I am from the same place she is. Thanks for coming. Give her my sympathy. Oh, Javi, yeah, she'll be all right. I've been having a rough week, too. I got all kinds of new garbage wrong with me. It's what happens to you as you get older. I have to go this week to a nephrologist because they think there might be a little damage to the one kidney because of my diabetes. So I'm hoping that's wrong. Got to do that. And my left eye's been bothering me. Just stuff, you know how it is. So anyway, so that's how, okay. Now I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of perfect pearls on it. Ah, don't do that. I opened it upside down. You don't want to do that. Maybe you. Okay, that's better. So now I'm going to take a toothpick, you know, like Javi does. She takes a toothpick and she just kind of knocks a little bit out of there. That'll be plenty. Should be anyways. Yeah, they used to say all the time, you sound like Roseanne Barr. I haven't heard anybody say that in a long, long time. So I guess I still do. See what I'm doing here, Marcy? I don't need any embossing, you know, ink, nothing. The resin picks it up and holds it. So all I gotta do is just put her on there. Oh, I like it now that it's darker. I'll take a little something and clean that chaton up because I want it to sparkle still. But the main thing is, you know, just to learn to work with whatever shape you want for it. And make sure you don't get your embellishments buried down too deep in it, because they could disappear. I've had that happen. Make sure I'm on camera. But all I'm doing is I'm just brushing it on. Nothing special. Nothing special. So while I'm doing this, I'll just let yins know, that we are doing a giveaway on the website this weekend. Today's the last day for it. To possibly win, to have an entry, all I need is a small order of any size at the website, not at Etsy. And then we'll count them all up and see what we got. And then that person's going to get a $50 gift certificate to the website. And then a lot of times on Sundays, so I'll go ahead and do it again this week. A lot of times on Sundays, when I do the live videos, I do a giveaway on that too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that today too. And all you have to do is say something. You have to, that's all you got to do. You have to say something on the live feed. Some people get a little confused and they put it in the comments underneath the video after the video is over. That sadly does not count. You have to talk to me while it's on. So if you're there and you're lurking, you might want to win a little gifty. And if you know me, you know my gifties are pretty sweet. A lot of you guys here are from the creative group, and you know that. In fact, Jan's getting a gifty. Hers is on the way because she won for WTW last week. And what that is Work Table Wednesday. Every Wednesday we show what we're working on using Bistro Boutique's products on our work tables. And then we have to get 20. We usually do. At least 20. And then we do the random number thing and somebody wins a gifty. And those are nice too. Okay, so there's my bead. Not my favorite bead I ever made, but it's okay. It's working. You like how it's turning out, Sharon? Great. She says, I like making nuggets and it worked. I was not in love, maybe used for a steampunk design. Okay, that's good. Somebody's going to send an order? That's always nice. Well, we'll take it. Because I do a few classes a year, and those are paid classes. They're usually a day, several hours to several days. But I don't do them very often. Most of my teaching is free here at YouTube, and I love it, love it when we do them live, because I like the interaction. Hey, Amy, I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad you're back to see me. And Avonda, thank you. You like that color? I do too. I love poppy. It's just so rich. It's kind of, let me see if I can get it under here. You guys can have a better look. It's kind of reddish. It's kind of pinkish. It's kind of copperish. I just love it. Good color. Good. So, I have some more I better make, and I don't want to lose them, because if I don't go ahead with them, they'll just dry up. That's the thing. Somebody says my gifties are amazing. I hope so. They have to be worth something to somebody. Yeah, Melba, you won once on here, I think. Yeah, you won once on here. So somebody today, so long as they've said something to me, is going to win. Whoopie days. You know what? I just had another idea. I'm not going to use this little piece. I'm going to use this biggest one. This is my biggest one I made here. And I'm going to show you something. You can embellish these so many different ways. Hey, Kimberly. How you doing? So glad you're here. Hi, Nancy. She's been beading since she was 9, in my 60s now. I'm 66. Do I have you beat, Nancy? And I haven't been beading all my life. I've been beading 30 years, maybe 25. And I don't bead the way a lot of people bead. I'm very, very funky and outside the box. I like to bead on wire. I hardly ever bead on string. I don't do the fancy little beads or anything, although I admire that work a lot. I don't do the seed beads either, because my eyesight is just not that good for that. I know you get the optivizer thing and all that, but it goes too slow for me. I'm an assemblage artist, so that's what I do. But I like to stack beads and put them, on chain and things like that. And I have a lot of videos on that too, if you're not sure what I'm talking about. Okay, so I got this guy going. He's fat. I'm going to push him down. Push him down like this. I don't know if it's going to work or not, because he might not be thick enough. But I got one of these. Hey, Ann. Nice to see you. I've got one of these guys. So I'm going to see if I can press this in and still have room to make a hole. If not, I'll take another piece of that and add to this. Let me get that down. It's a compass. So for you steampunk people, that could be a cool thing to consider. I want to order the rhinestone chain. It's under chain, Debbie. We have a category for chain. You'll see it right there on the top navigational bar. If you can't find it, there's a search box, top right, and you can go there and just put chain in there, and all the chain will come up that way too. But yeah, or just put rhinestone chain. Just put rhinestone chain in the search box and it'll come up. Super simple. So I'm liking this. Now, the thing is, I gotta find out if I can make a hole in here that will be enough to put something through. So, Jessica, you're not 73, really? I would have never guessed that. I would figure you were like in your late 40s or early 50s, maybe. Those were the days. I came on YouTube 11 years ago. And we have all that body of work since then. I've taken a few of them down because they just weren't too good. But most of them have left because people like watching them anyway. And so I always tell people, if you like my videos and you binge watch them, you will watch me age. You will see me get older. And now my hair is mostly silver and some white in the front. So that's a very different look for me. I haven't shown myself much for a while because it gets late and I don't want to fix my hair. So I put it up on top of my head because it's kind of long now too. And I don't. I should do one though so people will know that I'm all right. Okay. So this is pretty good. I can get a substantial hole in there. I'm not going to be able, I don't think, to put the big ring on it, but I have another one, so I'm going to do this. These will work. Okay, so I'm just going to ream this out a little bit more and get a little bit bigger hole. Another reason too that I like these and they go down in is because you can put a bead right up into it and it looks kind of continuous, and I like that look. Yeah, we have, I think, 5 or 6 colors of Apoxie Sculpt, and that includes black and super white. And I have a few little kits that are different colors now, too. And we have the safety solvent. There's not a lot to that line. There's not a lot to get, you know. Especially you get the stuff and you look at it. You can turn the Apoxie Sculpt colors, too. The best way is not to try and color up the whole, you know, wad of it like this. It's a surface treatment, surface application. And you just saw how easy that was. Okay, so I've got a nice hole here, a nice hole here. So what this will become is it'll be like for a focal of some kind, or a tassel or something like that, okay? So now I'm going to put these on and see if these work, and I think they will. I think they'll work splendidly. Okay. So now I need to tamp that down in there a little bit. I just love a finished hole. I'm like this even when I, you know, make a hole in metal, or when I used to do polymer clay, what I would do is I make my hole, and then before I would bake it, I would put liquid sculpting in the hole and then put a tube rivet, or wait till it was baked and then do it, either way. And then I would always have a finished hole, and people always say, "You mean you can rivet polymer clay?" I said, "Oh yeah." Not the typical way, but that's how I do it. Yeah, you can. Just have to inlay it so it'll stay. And I never had them pop out when I used the liquid Sculpey, so that worked out good. You do the same thing with this. Absolutely the same. Tamp, 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 tamp. Okay, I've got a nice one. See, I've got my 4-sided bead going on again. It's just my thing. So, you know, for those who want little round ones and stuff like that, yeah, the wood bead thing is a good idea. I'm going to get some and do them. We'll have another live thing to do that as soon as I can get some. I probably have some around here down in the workshop. Okay, that's fairly good. Like I say, perfection is not my thing. Really, I don't have to have perfect. I'm going to move this over just a little by just smushing it over. Yeah. Yeah, when I first started working with Apoxie Sculpt, I'm like, shoot, you know, because I was really used to putting a polymer clay bead on wire, you know, to bake it and keep it open and all that. And then I had this little rack that was made with a little plastic basket, and I would wind the wire around the edges and put the beads on that, and then I would glaze them, so all the glaze that dripped off would fall down on the bottom, and it worked out pretty good. It worked out so good that somebody stole my picture and put it on their website. So I guess I took that as a compliment, huh? It's like, how dumb are people, don't you know? These videos are copyrighted. My name is trademarked. But you can surely use the idea all you want. Or if she had let me know, I probably would have said, yeah, if you give me credit. Probably would have. Because I'm like that. Okay. Brenda, you're funny. Yeah. I guess I am. Nancy likes, hey, Beans, how you doing? I'm going to take some of this rhinestone chain and put it around it because that... I like the oddness of something like industrial, like the compass, with something blingy too. So let's see how far I get. And I think I'm going to start it down here at the bottom. Just mush it over here. Start pushing it in. Now you could, you know, size it up and just, you know, push it in that way too, you know, so you just have just so much. But I like doing it, you know, off of a long piece, because that way I've got extra work with if I need it. That's me. This is looking good. It's looking good. Looking good in the neighborhood. I miss Javi today. Did you guys see her video from Friday? It was the bomb. She is doing good. Her and Lauren both are doing great with her videos. It's so nice to have young people working here because, you know, I kind of have my way of doing things that they have theirs, and it's good collaboration, I guess is what I'd call it. Okay, that's kind of cool, like a watch or something, except it's a compass. Except now my holes are collapsed. So, oops, look at. It picked up some poppy because it was not cleaned off of here. So that's something else you got to watch for. If you use this Perfect Pearl stuff, you want to get it cleaned up. Juxtaposition, exactly, Pat. That's exactly what it is, juxtaposition. Some people might even say serendipity. I don't know. But I think juxtaposition is a little bit better. Okay, so I got that on one side. What am I going to put on the rest of it, though? I'm liking this. Sorry for like, how long does Spicier Sculpt, Apoxie Sculpt, stay workable? For about an hour, Anne. For about an hour. Optimally, you know, 45 minutes, but you can still get stuff laid into it for about an hour. Sometimes, if I've made a real big ball of it and haven't separated it, it'll stay a little bit longer for me to pull pieces off and work on. If you don't care about sticking stuff into it, you probably got an hour and a half if you're just making colored beads or something. If you want to stick stuff into it, it starts to get a little bit hard. It's not, you know, it's not cured by any means. It takes a while. Like overnight is best, but you're not going to get stuff stuck into it too good if you wait longer than that. So you don't want to do that. Okay, I had some funky little watch over here thing. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if it's going to fit, but I'm going to see. I think it's too big. It is. Yeah, I need a bigger piece for that. Oh, here's a nice... Nice old button. Would that work? What the hey? I'm really getting into buttons. Did you guys see all that stuff I made with buttons yesterday? I put on Facebook. I've always loved buttons. We have some for sale too at the site, but they're just, you know, the common type ones. If I get some real special ones once in a while, I might share them. Right now, I'm not sharing them. I have some, but I'm not sharing them. Okay, so I got him on the back. Okay, so I got that there. So, you know, you can just see the sky's the limit. You know, your options are your options. You know, you do what you want. The big thing is keep this hole reamed out. Or you're in trouble. Keep this hole reamed out. I wonder what other color I have. Or I have some gold. That might be pretty. Could try some gold on it. I've got silver stuff, but gold might be okay too. Well, rhinestone cup chain, it's some gold or brass. But I need to put some stuff on the sides. Don't you guys think? So I'm gonna go the easy way out. I'm gonna go with putting this in here. Try to get it square as I can. Here we go. And then tamp it down in a little bit. Leaving that in there while I'm working on it will help it, you know, stay open too. This is high on this side. There's so much more than this I could do to this piece. But, you know, we're going to run out of time. And the stuff's going to start sitting up. It is really smart if you do some sketching before you make your epoxy sculpt to make the beads, because that way you kind of know, you know, where you're going with it already. See, this is an example how you get stuff pushed down in there. I don't know if I can bring this back up or not. It's still okay because it's holding the hole open, but I would prefer to see the beaded edge on that little washer or ring. I would prefer to see that. Okay, so that's kind of curious and curiouser. Or maybe Dumb and Dumber. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just really liking this little thing in here. This will make a nice focal. This will make a nice focal. And here's the thing, guys. You know, you can always glue to this too. You know, if you don't get it all in there, it's just nice to have it inlaid. I like to see it be inlaid. That's what I like. And like I say, wonky is good, but I don't like it to get too wonky. So, you know, I tried to look after it to see if there's, you know, some basic shape to it. You know, Pat says, I have 2 large jars and a couple of small mason jars of very old buttons, beads from my grandma. She died in '86. Cool. Now, if the pendant flips, there's a focal on each side. There sure is. Yeah, I have big bags back here on the coffee table of mother of pearl buttons. That's my favorite. And then I like the Victorian tinies, which this would be kind of like a Victorian tiny. And some people say, well, why would you put that down in there now? It's ruined. Well, hopefully this doesn't have a lot of value. I don't think it does, but I think there's probably a way to pick it out of there. I didn't cut the shanks off. I don't cut shanks off. I might tamp them down a little bit, but I don't cut them off. Because you know how I feel about busting up jewelry that has value. I'm not liking that. So I don't want to damage the buttons, but sometimes the buttons, you know, you want to use them and remember people, you know, that maybe it was your grandma's or something. You can make something that's a nice little memory out of it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this out of here, and I'm going to kind of just even up to see, you know, where I'm at. Now I'm going to have to ream this out a little bit because this hole is altogether too small. Where's Javi? Javi's not feeling so hot today, Beans. She's laying down. She came up to get this on for me. So, or she might be out front with Rob too. She was working on a video. Did you guys see the needle case necklace that I got? It was specially made for me by 1928. They don't have it on their website. They don't carry it. They don't intend to. But it was something they made like 40 years ago, and they remade them for me. And they're so cool. And so she wants to make a moving video of it so that people can see, you know, what it looks like when it's on you and see how it moves and all that stuff. So she might be out front doing that. Who knows? She might be sleeping on my bed too. Okay, this is about where I'm at with it. You know, I can continue to fiddle with it a little bit more later, but that's about where I'm at with it. So yeah, this is a really good example of sitting down and planning first. MOP is mother of pearl. Mother of pearl, mop. Mother of pearl. So, I don't know, I'll show you a few of these real close since we're just waiting for this one. Where are you guys? Here we go. These are some pendants I made with them. This is Victorian Tiny, which I did not cut the shank off. I just made it so I could get it down the middle. This one had a recess in it. This is Mother of Pearl, dark and light, and it's kind of got a, oh, it's not rhinestone, it's just kind of diamond-ish, pounded somehow that makes it look like that. It's not altered anyway. This is I love this one. This is a really fancy one. So I got the crosshatch on this one and this one, then that's a tiny in the middle. So I like, hey Laurel, it's so nice to see you. So I don't know if I would put Apoxie Sculpt beads with this, but I don't know that I wouldn't. Have to wait and see. Anyway, that's what I did yesterday besides get ready for this video. Now we got to get a little color on this, and I think we said we were going to do some of this gold. So let's do some gold. I just lost it down here. Let's do some gold. So I'll have to get a toothpick. Where'd they go? I have so much sitting on this desk that I have to really look around to find stuff sometimes. It's sitting right here, but it's sitting right here. Okay, that should be enough. If it's not, then I'll get some more, because I don't like to waste it. Okay. Yeah, we just got these compasses back in stock. We were at them for a while. The supplier couldn't get them. I've been buying this compass for as long as there was an internet. And before that, when I had my store line, we used it a lot. So I was kind of surprised when they said, we can't get it. But you know, supply chain stuff, you know, people have a problem. Yeah, this set down in so it looks like a tube washer now. So that's just an example of what happens when you push down too much. And it's probably because I had that big button on the back and then this compass that I want to get down in it. But yeah, once again, all you do is just brush it onto it. You don't need any embossing ink, nothing. This is resin clay. The resin will just pick it up. If you want to put a little bit more color, you know, when it's dry, you can use paints. Maybe a little swipe of Gilder's paste, rub and buff, whatever trips your trigger. There are tons of different surface treatments for polymer clay, tons of them. And they can be adapted to use with epoxy too. And epoxy is such a good buy. You get enough to make about a ½ pound of beads, because the part A is 2 ounces, the part B is 2 ounces. Put together, that's 4 ounces. That's a quarter pound. That's a lot of beads. This right here, these you see here, this is only like 1/4, maybe, of, you know, a set of Apoxie Sculpt mixed together. That's all that is. You know, so you can see you can make a lot of beads with one thing of Apoxie Sculpt, and I think Apoxie Sculpt's $12.95 at our site, and it is a good buy. It is a very good buy. And it doesn't go bad. It has a really long shelf life. You just have to be sure that you have it sealed up real tight. If you don't seal it up real tight, then it will dry out and you'll have a hard time using it. It's probably lost if you do that. So don't do that. Fun, fun, fun! I think I'd do more with this, but I don't have time to do that and finish up. So let's see. Dries on its own. That's right, Laurel. Is there a video for the button pendants? No. No. We did mini assemblage class a few weeks ago, and that was in that class. You can still buy that class if you want to. We have it at the website. You can buy it, and then what we do is, if you buy it, we send you the secret URL for YouTube where you can access it. It's a 3-hour class, so it's pretty cool. You learn 3 different projects in it. But at this time, no. It's pretty easy, though, to be honest with you, just to make a straightforward button pendant like this. You just have to have the right buttons, that's all, and the right mount. And these just came in the other day, so there's going to be some on the site real soon. I have a lot of mounts coming in. So, and for those who love 1928 parts, I do have another shipment that's going to be here in about 3 weeks or so. They're working on it right now. So we have some, it's not new stuff, because I kind of have to find the new stuff on my own. He's not too good about trying to go out in the factory and find anything for me anymore, and I can't go there anymore. I don't want to go there anymore. I've got too much to do here. So there are, there's a computer, like a flip book of the castings files, and I have one that we made one time too, so I do have that, but you know, it's just kind of hard to see and go back and forth. So I'm probably going to stay with mostly, you know, the tried and true stuff that I've always had, made people happy. They have beautiful mounts. If you've not tried them, there's no zinc mount out there that can compare to it. But of course, they cost 4 or 5 times more than a zinc mount, so it's up to you. I don't want to let that line go. It's too special, you know. This is too special. And then I wrote the book too, so I just don't want to let go. Okay, I think I have this formed up pretty good. This could go down a little bit more. And I'm just going to make sure this is free, or it'll be sad. So, yeah, there's a lot of clever embellishment ideas there. A lot of things you can do. If you like steampunk, there's so many things. You could press little gears and stuff and watch parts down into it and all that. And if you press them down good, hey, Luann, then, you know, you don't have to worry about anything. They're going to stay. Did the button have a shank on it? A little one. Not very big. And it was a little bit damaged already, too, so I didn't feel too bad about using it. I don't know what this is. It looks like the Greek Parthenon or something. I don't know. Okay, so that's pretty much the way it goes. So I'm going to have to go on and try and get these made, because I will not be able to make them. They're going to get too hard. So I'll have to go on and make them. And probably what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make them into very straightforward beads that have color on them. And then I'll use them in other things. Ouch. Because we've already been on here for an hour, and I mixed these up an hour ago. They're starting to get hard. Yeah, I don't want to lose it. So, thank you, Lisa Marie Beans. So glad you came. So glad all of you came. Makes me feel happy. Okay, so I think we're going to take off. I have to get hold of Javi. Javi! I hate to hold her like that, but she's in the other room. I don't know how to shut this off. Here she comes. Here she comes to save the day.
What happened?
I'm about done.
Okay,
I don't know how to shut this off.
Oh.
So just give me a minute. I'm saying goodbye to them. Okay, guys, I'm going to take off now. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And just one last reminder too, today is the last day for the Get 25 Off code. It's pinned to the top of the group. That gives you $25 off of 100. This is the last day. I won't have that one again. So if you want to take advantage of that and stock up, go get yourself some Apoxie Sculpt and other things like that and get yourself all set up. Might be a good time to do it. Okay? Andrew says, I just got here a few minutes ago, had meeting till noon. Looks like a video. Well, sure, it'll be here, Andrew. Don't worry. It'll be here. Okay? Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. In a little bit, I'll go through and I'll see who commented today, and then I'll count up the unique entries. I only count you one time, and then I'll find out what the number generator says, and I'll let you know. Okay? Hi, Vonda. Okay, bye. Bye, everybody. You're the best.